Hello students, today I do like to start a new chapter, alternating voltage and current. Alternating current. Before this chapter, you have a lot of knowledge about electromagnetic induction. In that chapter, you have studied that by the change of magnetic flux attached to a coil, there is a production of induced current. And the nature of induced current is always to oppose the region by which it is produced. If this is produced by increment of magnetic flux, then it flows in that direction where it can annul the effect of this increasing magnetic flux. Now, relating to that point, we have to discuss about the nature and origin of alternating current. Why it is called alternating current? I would like to explain this word alternating. Let us suppose this is x-axis and this is y-axis. A graph is given to you like this. Here plus region and this is minus region. If we are taking a complete cycle, here, from here to here, this is 1/4 rotation. From here to here, again 1/4 rotation, this 1/4 rotation and this 1/4 rotation. So from here to here, it completes one rotation. If from here to here time period is capital T, then from here to here it will be T by 4. Similarly, T by 4, T by 4 and T by 4. If we discuss about one complete rotation, then time period is taken as capital T. So in T by 4 second, it moves in the positive direction. Next in T by 4, it moves in the negative direction, and next again it comes in positive direction, and in the next it comes to the negative direction. In this way, from here to here, 2 times it moves in positive direction and 2 times it moves in negative direction. Now here there is no 2 continuous movement in positive section and 2 continuous movement in negative section, but you have first, if it moves in positive direction, then after that it will go in negative direction, again then it comes in positive direction and then go in negative direction. So this types of movement is happening alternately, so this is known as alternating nature. If any curve follows this path, then it will be called curve of alternating nature. And in trigonometry, you know that if there is a function y is equal to sin x, then we have such types of curve. From here it is 0 and here it is pi by 2. From here this is pi and here 3 pi by 2 and after that 2 pi. Here this is pi by 2 and this is pi. Here it is 3 pi by 2 and again here pi, 3 pi by 2. One thing, from here to here it is pi by 2 because it becomes maximum. At this point when x is equal to pi, this becomes here 0. At this 3 pi by 2, it becomes minimum but in negative direction, and at 2 pi it becomes 0. So from here to here it completes one rotation. So if we are saying about alternating current or alternating voltage, then it follows the nature of sine curve. So now we have to shown here how alternating current or alternating voltage follows sine curve. Now here, suppose this is a circular loop. If this circular loop is rotating about its axis in magnetic field, this is the magnetic field, and this magnetic field is directed inward to the surface of blackboard. Now here, this is magnetic field. If this circular wire or this circular loop is rotating about its axis in this magnetic field, then due to the sudden change of magnetic flux, there is a production of induced EMF, and this induced EMF can be calculated by applying Faraday's first law, E is equal to minus N d phi by dt. This formula comes from the Faraday first law from the previous chapter. So E is equal to minus N d phi by dt, where N is number of turns in this rotating coil. This becomes minus N d by dt of, this is called magnetic flux attached to the coil, which is equal to BA. This is equal to BA. Now here minus N B into dA by dt. But this is called vector B dot vector A, so it will be written as like this way, sorry for this, N d by dt of BA cos theta, where theta is the angle between vector B and vector A at any moment. Now this becomes minus N d by dt of BA cos omega t, where theta is equal to omega t. This theta is known here angular displacement, and this is angular velocity, and t is any particular time. So minus N, take BA outside because it is constant. So d by dt of cos omega t. Now here this becomes minus N BA cos omega t. When differentiating, you have minus omega sin omega t. So this becomes N BA omega sin omega t. Therefore, E is equal to N BA omega sin omega t. This is induced EMF which is produced in the coil due to its rotation about its axis. Now listen again. This is uniform magnetic field which is directed inward to the surface of this board. Now here this is a circular coil which is rotating about its axis in this uniform magnetic field. At any moment there is a change of magnetic flux attached to this coil, and due to that change there is a production of induced EMF in the coil. and this induced EMF can be calculated by applying this formula which comes from Faraday's first law, E is equal to minus n d phi by dt. So this becomes minus n d by dt. In place of phi, we can write vector b dot vector a, because magnetic flux attached to the coil numerically will be equal to vector b dot vector a. So minus n d by dt, this becomes ba cos theta, because you know that vector a dot vector b is equal to ab cos theta. So this will be ba cos theta. Here theta is called displacement for any particular time t. So minus n d by dt of ba cos omega t, because theta is equal to omega t, where omega is called angular velocity and t is any particular time. So minus n ba take out because it is constant, d by dt of cos omega t. After differentiating with respect to the time t, we get this value minus omega sin omega t. So here it will become n ba ka omega sin omega t. Therefore, E is equal to n ba omega sin omega t. Now here, since we know that maximum value of sin theta is equal to plus 1, then what will be its maximum value? E naught, maximum value of induced EMF produced in the rotating coil, E naught is equal to n ba omega mod of sin omega t max. So this becomes n ba omega, its value is 1, therefore E naught is equal to n ba omega. Now putting this value in this equation, we have E is equal to E naught sin omega t. So induced EMF which is produced in the coil is E equal to E0 sin omega t. Now if we draw the graph between omega and E0, then we have this type of plotting here. Now we collected data to find the graph. This is E and this is omega t. If we are putting omega t as 0, then this value will be 0. If we are putting omega t pi 2, then this value will be E0. If it becomes pi, then this value will be 0. If this becomes 3 by 2, then this value will be minus E0, and again on 2 pi it becomes 0. If you are plotting this graph here, this is origin of pi by 2, pi, 3 pi by 2 and 2 pi for one complete rotation, and the value of this will be here plus E0, and here it will be minus E0. So graph starts from the origin and takes the maximum value at pi by 2. After that it comes to 0 at pi, and then it goes in the maximum value here. This is the maximum value at 3 pi by 2, and then it comes to 0 at 2 pi. So this nature is what? This nature follows sine curve, and we know that sine curve has a nature of alternating plus minus, and this also follows the same nature. So it is called alternating. Therefore we can say this follows the property of alternating nature, so it is called alternating induced EMF. If we say that the voltage applied in any circuit is V, then V is equal to V0 sine omega t, and the current flowing in that circuit will be I is equal to I0 omega t. So this V is called alternating voltage and I is called alternating current. If we plot them on a curve, then we find this type of curve like this way. Here, this is for voltage and this is for current here. So this is for voltage, that is V0, and this is for current, that is I0. So both alternating voltage and this alternating current have the same nature of their graphs. So we can say that alternating voltage is that voltage which repeats its previous magnitude and direction after a certain interval of time. So it has a property of periodic function. Similarly, alternating current is also defined as a current which follows the nature of sine curve. This means it also repeats its magnitude and direction after a certain interval of time, and this is of alternating nature. Therefore, we named them this voltage and current as alternating voltage and alternating current. Now here, this is maximum value of voltage and this is maximum value of current. So here V0 and I0, this is called peak value. It is peak value of voltage, and it is also peak value of current. So we can say that this peak value of voltage and peak value of current is maximum value of voltage in positive direction, and here it will be maximum value of voltage in negative direction. So it is denoted as plus V0 and this becomes minus V0. Similarly, it will be plus I0 and this will be minus I0. Now here, if we compare this equation, V is equal to V0 sine omega t to Y is equal to A sine omega t. Y is equal to A sine omega t is the equation for displacement of a particle oscillating in simple harmonic motion. Similarly, this curve V is equal to V0 sine omega t, also known as oscillating nature. Now here A, this A is called amplitude. So it is also called amplitude. And this omega is known as 2 pi n, and here n is called frequency. So omega here, this is also 2 pi n, and n is called frequency of alternating voltage. And here we know that n is equal to 1 by t, where t is called time period, and t is any particular time. So this is also known as amplitude. This is amplitude and this is omega, that is angular speed. Omega is equal to 2 pi n, where n is frequency, means number of complete rotation in per second, that is known as frequency. But frequency is equal to 1 by time period. This is time period from here to here in one complete rotation. Its time period is capital T. Its time period is capital T. So from here to here it becomes maximum, from here to here it becomes minimum. So in one complete rotation, 2 times it will be maximum in positive and negative, and 2 times it becomes 0. Therefore we can say that the average value of this voltage will be 0. Similarly, if we are taking this curve as a alternating current, then its average value will also be 0. Therefore, we have to calculate what is its average value for half rotation. Now here average value for half time of period. Average value for half time of period. For this purpose, this is the average value for half rotation. It will be integral of 0 to T by 2 v dt divided by integral of 0 to T by t dt. This is the formula by which we may calculate the average value of alternating voltage in half rotation. Now here integral of 0 to T by 2, this value is v0 sin omega t dt. From there integral of 0 to T by 2 dt. Now this becomes v0 constant, take out, integral of 0 to T by 2 sin omega t dt, and here this becomes t 0 to T by 2. This becomes v0. Now integral of sin omega t will be minus cos omega t divided by omega 0 to T by 2. Here this becomes T by 2. Now it can be written as 2 v0 upon t. This 2 v0 upon t into omega minus cos omega t from 0 to T by 2. So this will be 2 v naught upon t omega. Here putting this value, let us suppose minus sign is taken here, so this becomes cos omega t 0 to T by 2. This will be minus 2 v0 t omega cos omega t by 2. Putting this value t by 2 here, minus cos 0, putting this value here. It is higher limit and it is lower limit. So to get the definite value, we have to subtract the value of lower limit from higher limit. This becomes minus 2 v0 upon t omega cos omega t by 2 minus 1, because cos 0 is 1. Now what will be omega t? Since we know that omega is equal to 2 pi upon capital T, therefore T omega is equal to 2 pi. So putting here, we have this is equal to minus 2 V0 upon T omega. This will be 2 pi here cos 2 pi upon 2 minus 1. So this becomes minus V0 upon pi. We have cos pi minus 1 and minus V0 upon pi. This becomes minus 1 cos pi minus 1. So this becomes 2 V0 upon pi. In this way, we get the average value of voltage in half rotation. So V half is equal to 2 V0 upon pi. This is in positive direction for half rotation, and for negative direction it will have the same magnitude 2 V0 upon pi, but it will be with negative sign. Therefore, if you want to have the average value in one complete rotation, then it becomes 0. This can be written as 2 upon 3.14 V naught after solving 200 upon 314 V0. So this becomes approximately 0.674 or 3 V naught. So this is the magnitude of V bar in half rotation. Next, now if we are taking the average value of alternating voltage or alternating current in in full rotation, then it becomes 0. This means there is no voltage or there is no current in the circuit, but it is not possible. So we have to take another method to express this average value of voltage and current, that is called VRMS or IRMS. Now we have to set up a relation between VRMS and V0 or IRMS and I0. What is IRMS or VRMS? IRMS. From this order, first square of all currents, then mean. It is square and then mean. This means here sigma, square of all currents divided by n, number of all currents. So total of square of all currents divided by their number, and then root. This means under root. So this is the real sense of IRMS. Suppose that if many currents are given to you and you want to find out this value of IRMS, then you have to make square of all currents and then take their mean value, and after that when you take its square you will get IRMS. For example, let us suppose you are given a current, let us suppose I0 minus 2I0, 3I0 minus 3I0 and 4I0. If we are given here 5 currents and we have to find out its RMS value, then how will you find IRMS of these 5 currents? So IRMS is equal to, first we make square, then we take mean, and then we take square root. So this means under root, first we make square of all the currents, I0 square plus minus 2I0 square becomes 4I0 square plus it becomes 9I0 square. This again becomes 9I0 square and this becomes 16I0 square divided by number of terms 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So this becomes 16, 9, 25, 25, 9, 34, 34, 38 and 39, I0 square by 5. So this becomes I0 under root 39 by 5. This is IRMS of these 5 currents. So in this way you can find out IRMS or VRMS of given currents or voltage. Now here relation between IRMS and I0. What is I0? It is maximum value of the current, that is called peak value of the current, and this IRMS. IRMS is known as virtual current. It is called virtual current. So in another words we can say that relation between virtual current and maximum value of the current, IRMS is called virtual current. In alternating circuit, the current which flows is known as virtual current. We have to seek the relation between this current and this current. Now, by the definition, we can say that IRMS is equal to, here first, IRMS square is equal to integral of 0 to t for complete rotation, I square dt divided by integral of 0 to t dt. Why we are taking square here? Because in the case of IRMS we have to take square root, and if we have its square then we have IRMS square to remove the under root. Now here this is the formula. This formula you have in your memory. Only then you succeed to find out the relation between IRMS and I0. Now here integral of 0 to t, I is equal to I0 sin omega t whole square dt divided by integral of 0 to t dt. Here I0 square is a constant, 0 to t sin square omega t dt and divided by t. This becomes t. Now here, since from integration we do not know what will be integral of sin square omega t, we have no formula, but we have this formula, integral of sin theta d theta is equal to minus cos theta. So we have to remove this square. For this purpose 2 is multiplied here and here, 2 sin square omega t dt 0 to t upon t. This t is here. Now 2 sin square omega t, we know this formula, 1 minus cos 2 theta is equal to 2 sin square theta. Therefore 1 minus cos 2 in place of theta put omega t, 1 minus cos 2 omega t is equal to 2 sin square omega t. So in place of 2 sin square omega t, we have to substitute this value 1 minus cos 2 omega t for integration. So this becomes I0 square upon 2t. This t is taken with this I0 square by 2t. Now here this will be 1 minus cos 2 omega t dt, integrating from 0 to t. In place of 2 sin square omega t, it is replaced here 1 minus cos 2 omega t. Now after integrating, we have integral of 1 with respect to the dt time, it will be t, minus cos 2 omega t, its integration sin 2 omega t divided by 2 omega 0 to t. Here now I0 square upon 2t, on evaluating we have to subtract lower limit from higher limit. So this value will be t minus sin 2 omega t upon 2 omega minus, putting here 0, this will be 0 minus 0. If we are putting here 0, it will be 0, and here 0, then sin 0 will be 0. So this becomes I0 square by 2t, here t minus sin 2, in place of omega t, it will be written 2 pi upon 2 omega, this becomes 0. So this will be I0 square upon 2t, here t minus, this becomes 0, because sin 4 pi will be 0. Sin 0 is 0, sin 2 pi is 0, sin 4 pi 0, sin 6 pi 0. This means even multiple of pi will be 0 for the case of sin. So this will be I0 square by 2t into t. So this becomes I0 square by 2. Therefore, I RMS square is equal to I0 square upon 2. So I RMS is equal to I0 upon root 2. Similarly, VRMS is equal to V0 upon root 2. This is the conversion of IRMS into I0 or I0 into IRMS. Sometimes let us suppose if equation is given I is equal to, suppose that 0.2 sin 100 pi t. If equation of alternating current is given I is equal to 0.2 sin 100 pi t, then how will you find out the value of IRMS? IRMS means virtual current, or you can say this is the current which is flowing in the circuit. So here comparing I equal to I0 sin omega t, so I0 is equal to 0.2 ampere, and here omega is equal to 100 pi, so 2 pi n is equal to 100 pi, so n is equal to 50 hertz. This means this current flowing in the circuit will have a frequency 50 hertz. So I0 is equal to 0.2 ampere, but this is not the current which is flowing in the circuit, because it is the maximum current. It is the maximum value of the current. But the virtual current or the current which is flowing in the circuit will be IRMS. Therefore, IRMS is equal to I0 by root 2. So this becomes 0.2 upon root 2 ampere. This is the virtual current which is flowing in the circuit. So with the help of this formula, we can find out the value of IRMS and I0 or VRMS and V0. This is very important for you for the purpose of examination, because it is asked to derive this relation, or several questions may set on this relation. Next, now we have to discuss some phase relation. Phase relation between V and I. Now see here, if V is equal to V0 sin omega t and I is equal to I0 sin omega t, then its graph will be obtained like this way. This is for voltage and this is for current. Voltage and current both are starting from the origin, so we can say that voltage and current are in the same phase. Here V and I are in the same phase. Therefore, phase difference is equal to 0. So if you have equation for voltage and current in this way, V0 sin omega t, I0 sin omega t, then this value is similar. Here, this is called phi 1 and this is called phi 2, that is phase of voltage and phase of current. Both are similar, so their difference will be 0. So if such types of equation are established between voltage and current, then both are called in the same phase. Now second point, if V is equal to V0 sin omega t plus phi and I equal to I0 sin omega t. Here both V and I are not in the same phase. If you want to find out the phase difference here, then you can say phi 1 is equal to omega t plus phi and phi 2 is equal to omega t. Therefore, phase difference between voltage and current is phi 1 minus phi 2, that is phi. Phi 1 minus phi 2, omega t will be cancelled out, you have only phi. So in this case, we can find the graph like this way. Omega t plus phi, it is leading. So its curve starts from here. And this starts from the origin. So this relation shows that voltage and current are not in the same phase. And we can say V leads to current by phi angle. This is plus phi, so we can say that this voltage leads to the current by phi angle. So this type of relation shows that voltage and current are in different phases, but voltage leads to the current. And graphically we can show like this way, current starts from the origin, but it starts somewhat away from the origin in positive direction, so it is called voltage leads to the current. And third case, if we are putting here minus sign, then there is also phase difference between voltage and current, but in this case with negative sign, voltage starts from negative direction like this way. Here it starts from here, and the current starts from origin. This is O and this is minus V0. Since voltage here starts from the negative, so we can say that current is now leading to the voltage, or in another words we can say voltage lags behind to current by phi angle. So in this way, V is equal to V0 sin omega t minus phi and I is equal to I0 sin omega t shows the relation that voltage lags behind to current by phi angle. In this way, we have seen that phase relation between voltage and current. So repeating again, in the first case, V is equal to V0 sin omega t, I equal to I0 sin omega t, both are in the same phase. And if V is equal to V0 sin omega t plus phi and I is equal to I0 sin omega t, we can say voltage leads to current by phi angle. But in this case, V is equal to V0 sin omega t minus phi and I is equal to I0 sin omega t, voltage lags behind to the current by phi angle. This can be said in another words. If we are saying that voltage lags behind to current by phi angle, then we can say that current leads voltage by phi angle. So we can say in opposite words. Now here, this phase difference between voltage and current we have to study in several parts of the circuits. Since in a circuit there is a resistance, inductor and capacitor. Resistance, inductor and capacitor. We have to find what is the nature of voltage and current in the case of resistance, inductor and capacitor. Now in the case of resistance, here let us suppose this is the symbol for alternating source. This is V is equal to V0 sin omega t, and it is connected only resistance. Here it is connected only resistance because we want to find out phase relation between voltage and current in the case of resistance. Since it is connected to the alternating source, so alternating current will flow through this resistance and the voltage VR, this is the alternating voltage between this resistance. Now here this VR is equal to what we have to write here. By applying here Kirchhoff's second law, by applying the Kirchhoff's second law, we can say that VR minus V is equal to 0. VR minus V equal to 0. Therefore, VR is equal to V, and this becomes V0 sin omega t, because V is equal to V0 sin omega t. Now here by Faraday law, VR is equal to IR. This is equal to V0 sin omega t. Therefore, I is equal to V0 by R into sin omega t. This V0 by R is equal to I0. This is the peak value of the current sin omega t. So here, this equation V is equal to V0 sin omega t, it is the voltage applied to the circuit, and in resistance the outcome current I also follows I0 sin omega t. So looking these two equations, we find that voltage and current have no phase difference, so both are in the same phase. So now in the case of resistor only connected to AC source, AC means voltage and current are in the same phase. So their graph will be like this way. This is voltage and this is current, V0 and I0. Okay, this is enough for today, and tomorrow I will discuss about the phase difference in the case of inductor and the capacitor. Thank you for this.